I want to tell you a story. Four friends, they were trusting God, believing, praying, bringing their creativity to bear. Do you know what they were trusting for? They were believing and praying and putting their creativity together, believing that if one person breaks through, the others have broken through. If God lifts one, he has lifted the rest. They were proved wrong. They prayed this prayer for many years together. I'm telling you, they're believers. And after a few years, God eventually answered that prayer. And one of them rose, got a huge contract. And guess what? The rest of the friends were like, whoa, they celebrated with him. They were so happy with him. They were so happy for him. And they were telling everybody, oh, God has done it for our friend. God has done it for our friend. Oh, we're sure things are going to turn around. Little did they know that this friend who God used as a point to bring every one of them to the place of their dreams. Guess what? At that point, his friends were no longer valuable. At that point, the other three didn't have any value, didn't have any relevance. At that point, the other three didn't make any difference to him anymore. They had no meaning anymore. They had no value, they had no worth, they had no class, they had no relevance, they had nothing. So he felt he had gone beyond that class of friendship. He had gone above them. So he began to look for friends. He began to make new friends. He looked for politicians. He looked for people who had names. He looked for young people of his age who were doing well. He was looking for those who were being celebrated. He was looking for those who had the name. And he wanted to mix with them at all costs, even if it took him to spend much more just to get into that cycle. And the cycle that supported him, the cycle that was his original base, the cycle that were there when he had nothing, the cycle that were there when his shame was so obvious, the cycle that were there like a wall to any resistance towards him, the cycle that were there when nobody would even look at him, those cycles were no longer important. That cycle was no longer important. So he was now looking for a new cycle, new class of friends, new class of bodies. And guess what? After a few years, the friends declined from him. They went back to their shells and they began to build themselves. And they said to themselves, if we could pray and trust God and believe God and have the faith enough and put our creativity on the table and dissect it enough and develop ourselves enough, if we could pray and do this together and it worked for one person, it means that the same time that we put in, the same effort that we put in supporting this person, the same hour of times we put in to pray for this person, the same amount of faith we put in to believe for this person, we will use it for ourselves. And guess what? In just a few years, the first person who got big began to go down. And the others began to rise. And they got celebrated. And people began to notice them. And they began to give this vibe, this impression. Like people started looking at them like, where are these guys coming from? Guys, where have they been? And everybody wanted to be their friends. They became relevant. They became big. They became something. They became a light that could not be covered. They became a sun that shined on people. They began to add freshness, new dimensions, and importance and value to their generation. And most importantly, to people around them. They became big. Guess what? The other young man who once got the contract that was big and who neglected and belittled his friends and tried to escape from that cycle and look for a new cycle, he began to recoil back and he began to do everything possible to try to make it look like nothing went wrong, like nothing happened, like we are together, we're in this together, We are friends after all. We're more than friends. We're brothers now. And these other guys did not give him any attention. What is the morale here? I'll read you the scripture. Luke chapter 11, from verse 5 to 6. And he said unto them, this is Jesus talking. And he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, don't forget, the friend that he went to at midnight was a friend. That man was a friend. And shall say unto him, friend, he called him friend, lend me 3 loaves, for a friend of mine in his journey, another friend, is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. And he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. I cannot rise and give. Do not trouble me. Do you know why he had the audacity to say that? Because he realized that this his friend was at a disadvantaged position. Do you know why? He realized that as at that point, he was a little bit above the waters. Because he's got bread and his friend didn't have bread to set before another friend that I'm sure they all knew. This is a cycle of friends. This is what I'm saying. One friend thinks that he's doing well, he's doing good, and he doesn't care if they're doing well or not. He doesn't care to support them. He can boldly say, I cannot do anything for him. I cannot do anything for her. You know why? Because they believe that you have not supported them financially. But many people who call themselves your friends do not know that it is not money that defines friendship. It is support that defines friendship. It is the involvement of your psychology, your person, friendship. It is those times when the person was in need and the person can call on you. And even if you don't have, you can make a move. That is what defines friendship. He says, my children are in bed with me. I'm resting now. I'm in a place of rest. I cannot rise and I cannot, not I'm not going to, I cannot rise and give thee. This is supposed to be a cycle of friends. Let me tell you something. If you are in a cycle of friends, if one person gets lifted and that person can think of the next friend, you're in the right cycle. If you're in a cycle of friends and one person get blessed, get lifted out of poverty, and that person is thinking of ways to empower the rest of the friends in that same cycle, even if not to come to his level, but at least to measure up, that's the right cycle to be. You are in the right place. Congratulations. But let me tell you something else. If you are in a circle of friends and one person gets lifted, get blessed, and he begins to see the rest of the people as shit, he begins to see the rest of his friends as nuisance, he begins to see them as a burden, he begins to see them as irresponsible, he begins to see them as too small for him to relate with. You are in the right cycle, sweetheart. You better get out. Run for your life. Get out. Let me tell you something. The time you're going to take to pray for some people, pray with some people, because you can pray for them when they're not there, and you can pray with them when they're there. That same time and energy, that the faith that you're going to develop to believe God and stand with them in faith, use it for yourself. The creativity that you're going to bring to the table to try to push that person or try to help that person. The phone calls that you could make even if you don't have money that will help that person and give the person an advantage in the marketplace. Use it for yourself. It's not a crime. It's not a sin. Do you know what the Bible says? It says love your neighbor as yourself. So you have to love yourself enough before you can have spare for your neighbor. There are people who do not deserve your support. There are people who do not deserve your help. There are people who do not deserve your sleepless nights. There are people who do not deserve your time. There are people who do not deserve the grace of God on your life. There are people who do not deserve the talent that God has put in you. Let them go. Build for yourself. And when you're building, be silent. There are many people who are hurt today because they supported people. They were there for those people in their down moments. At those times when it looks like nobody cared. At those times when they look like they can't sleep. At those times when they look like shame is knocking on the door. But guess what? When God lifted them, they told themselves, I need a new clique now. I need a new set of friends now. I need a new cycle now. No, these ones are too small for me. I need to get among the big girls. I need to begin to flow with the big boys. I need to party with the big side. I need to fly with the eagles now. I don't do chickens no more. But guess what? What goes around may come back around. It's important that you find out the cycle that you're in. It's not everybody you know that can stick with you to the end. Make yourself understand that there are times to embrace, and there are times to refrain. There are times to sit and talk. There are times to be quiet, silent, and build a destiny for yourself. Build a life for yourself. Build your vision. Operate in silence so that when you come out in the open and God gives you an expression, the enemy will not know what to fight in the open. It is important. Oh my God. I don't know if I've impacted something into you with this video. If that is the case, if you have benefited something, if you've learned something from this video, if it has helped you in any way, I want you to press that like button. Give us a thumbs up. Comment in the comment section below. Just let me know what you think. Let me know if you've had that kind of experience before. Let me know what you did. Let me know what you're doing now. Let me know your decision. Let me know what you think about this video. And please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel. And we'll bring you more inspiring videos like this again. And when we put out the videos, you will be the first to get it. Please put on your notification bell so that you will get the videos each time we upload a new video. I'm Lady Queen Paul. Now see you again. Do you know this? There's a breakthrough that swallows every breakdown. There's a fulfillment that God will give you in life that will swallow all your years of failure. Don't give up. Keep moving. Keep doing what you know how to do. Be consistent. And I know that you will be celebrated. I know you will make it because God is on your side.